All right, welcome back to the shop. If anybody still watches this channel, I appreciate you. YouTube kind of booted me out of the algorithm since, I didn't post for a couple weeks. Kind of expected, but everybody that still watches, I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to try to do way better videos. I got a new camera here, and the picture quality is amazing. I don't know if you guys see it on your screen. I think YouTube, you have to actually switch the definition. You got to put it in HD to see the videos clearer. But I was taking videos cutting, and well, here, check this out. If you can see it in the high def that it's recording in, it looks like it's a green screen almost. So check this out. So there you go. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks trippy to me. But gonna try put a little more effort into these videos. This is a pretty badass saw. This is gonna be the NOS boosted saw, and I had mentioned this thing in the last video. Said, hey, if anybody can tell me what I got going on here, I'll send you something. And a lot of people guessed that it was the 066 cylinder on a 460, and I am working on a 064 hybrid 460, but what I got going on here, this is a 461. So if you check out this part of the crankcase right here, you'll see that it's rounded for the 461 the recoil. The 460s have a square, this part right here is squared off on the crankcase, but somebody actually picked that up, and I was like, dude, that's pretty impressive. That somebody got that. This recoil is only held in by 3 bolts. Also, it does not line up on that 4th bolt right there. But we're gonna do some work to this thing. I'll probably talk as I tear into it here. This recoil is going off to Robin at Triple S. It is it's powder coated or painted, one of the two, but the really nice part. My new steel air wand. So I put a short up just being a dumbass. And what this is, guys, this is off of one of their sprayers. Like, you spray weed killer and stuff out of the handheld pump up sprayer. That's what this is off of. I made an air wand out of it just because I'm crazy. But it makes a good air wand. Yeah, I like steel stuff. So obviously the flywheel on this thing is shaved down. There's another video on my channel where I get into the, I think I talk about, it might be 2 different videos, but I talk about the crazy cylinder porting, which we're going to look at. I got to pop the jug off this thing. And this thing has some crazy cylinder porting going on, like absolutely wild porting. I did not know if this saw was going to run that well. And it ended up being the rowdiest 461 that I've ever built. Imagine that. Also, this coil, bear with me here, guys. So, the 461 comes with the 3-post, I call it a 3-post, 3-leg coil. And that's going to be a limited, but it also has a stage timing advance in it, the stock coil on a 461. So I swapped it to a 460 coil. See that yellow wire there? If you guys have worked with a lot of these, you know what I'm talking about. And this coil was off of a 10 mil 044. If you know what a 10 mil 044 is, they're kind of sought after. And it's a what is it? It's a Ducati Italian coil. And it just seems like it's, a little nicer. I have no idea if it helped or not, but I threw that coil in. And, you know, this thing hits serious RPMs. With this coil in it, the way it's set right now with the porting and everything, I had it up to almost 17,000 RPM, so it cooks. And that was without nitrous. No joke, without nitrous, I had it up to like 16.8. And that is with a legit tack. So as it sits like this, it kind of looks, you know, I call it the sleeper saw because it's kind of unassuming, just looks like a really mint 460, but you run it and it is absolutely insane. Here's a little clip of it running with no nitrous, no nothing, no timing advance even, just straight up 461. So there you go. That is ridiculously hard wood too that I'm cutting, and to keep the RPMs it did in that cut is pretty impressive. This saw is legit. And again, we'll check out the porting when I pop the jug off, but you guys are gonna see it's pretty wild. The Redbeard saw's prototype filter, it's not gonna be his finished product, but it uses a foam like uni style filter, oiled filter, just a better product. And I'm probably going to cut film a couple times. You're not going to watch me tear this whole damn thing apart, but I'm going to throw nitrous on. So let's take a look and see if she's fried yet. This has ran some NOS through it, so here we go. Got to be smarter than the damn phone apparently. So you can't use the flash or the light in like ultra wide mode. So there we go. So yeah, this camera is nice. So you see all that speckling in there? That something got in there and did the Humpty dance on top of that piston. You know, I show you guys the real. This is the reality of it. Running a nitrous saw, I had nobody that knew what they were doing to help me with this build, and this is the real world, guys. This is you know, 7 guys, 7 girls, MTV, real world. This is the reality of it. If you're gonna build some sort of crazy concept saw, and you don't blow it up a couple times, we ain't friends, because you're not gonna find the limit until you go past the limit. And I'm just real with you guys. This is the kind of shit I deal with these saws. That unfortunately is what killed my 460, the last one. It's together now, but that's the reality of it. You know, hopefully I can run a screen or something over the air filter or over the intake so I can have somewhat of an air filter. But now that we got this camera light on, we're going to show you the difference between a stock 461 cylinder and mine. Look at the difference in the intake. That's not even funny, guys. Now, actually, I'm gonna get the phone up. Here we go. Trying to figure out the best way to light this and have you guys check this out. So that would be a stock cylinder, bone stock, nothing done to it. That's the intake. There's my intake. Big freaking difference. Obviously, the uppers, I have my finger porting on there, and that's a big difference there. Lowers, and if you guys don't, it's hard to, I'm holding a light so I can't really point to it, but lower transfer, this thing right here. So check that one out. That's the stock factory. There's mine. Obviously the exhaust, pretty small, pretty weak, wide freaking open. So this is what I would call extreme cylinder porting. I mean, to see it side by side is pretty wild. Wow. So let me clean this thing up. That's why I wanted to pop it off, just check it out, and get this piston all finished up. I might just put a new piston in it, machine a new one, get the combustion chamber touched up, and then start hooking up nitrous. Have some fun. Okay, we good. So we got the cylinder straightened out, piston straightened out. It's not a different piston. And I was gonna say on this too, where I have the lowers all tunneled out and opened up, a guy really, in my mind, wouldn't want to do that unless you open up the crankcase. So I actually have the crankcase ground out, channeled out, so it's matched to this, and I think that is helping quite a bit. But like I said, in my mind, I mean, do what you want, don't listen to me, but in my mind, without opening up the crankcase, because these are going to be all odd shaped. It's one thing about the 461 I don't like. They have just a terrible shape to the lowers, and they're not even. One side's bigger, and you know, you're kind of. Well, let me grab the other cylinder quick again. So you can see the lowers right here on this one. See how that's uneven? We're talking about that part again. If you don't know what I mean by lowers, that is basically going to be the shape of your crankcase. It's not going to be even like this one is and opened up. So just something to be aware of. So let me put this thing in a tripod. I got my squish where I want it and everything. Throw the cylinder back on, and then we got to figure out how to put the wide open throttle switch in. We back on. So I got this bad boy on here. I did have the timing advanced, which you do not want with nitrous. So I got that back where it needs to be, and I have a little bit wider squish, which again I want. Got everything ready on this end of things. Now I have to get the wide open throttle switch set up, and I'm going to try something different on this one. So let me grab the nitrous box. Now let's just take a second to realize that's the coolest goddamn thing you're ever going to hear anybody say. I'm not going to lie. I mean, let's grab the nitrous box. I mean, game over. So most of my nitrous stuff is on these saws right now, but we got a little bit left, so we need a solenoid. This has got to go on it. We need a battery. This guy's got to go on it. We need a switch, arm switch. That's this guy. We're not going to worry about the jets and all that yet, but let's start with that. And then this is what I'm going to use to mount. And miscellaneous nuts and bolts I need. Oop, the stack, need that. Some of this stuff I don't need right now, but cool to put it out here and know that I have it, I guess. Pack's gonna get mounted. I'm not worried about plumbing right now. So the wiring, let's get this sorted out. Yeah, let me put you in a tripod. So there you go, box of nitrous shit. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There's a fine line between being too damn close and not being close enough. So let's move this for now. So I'm probably not going to record all of this, obviously, but a couple things. I need to mount this, and I had some of this stuff mounted before. I ran the battery off this side, I believe, and the solenoid off. Yeah, I had the solenoid battery like this, I believe. How the hell did I have that? Okay, I know how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to run my battery on this side, and this bracket's going to be on this side, and I'm going to run my solenoid over here. Hell yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. I don't know if that's how I had it before, but that's what I'm doing this time. Alright, this bad boy. So it would be sweet to have a nice bracket to hold that. I wonder if I can't sneak it. You know what? Major rethink. Yeah, this is gonna work. Okay. No, I gotta make sure it's off far enough so I can still get my hand on there. What works good for me is to keep all the bulk and weight to the back of the saw. You know, running nitrous and all that shit, you don't want this stuff out here. That's kind of what I had going on with my first setup, and I like, you know, this way better, ideally.
I thought about tucking a bottle like down like this, or even taking some of the fuel tank out and tucking it like that, and like, you know, cutting into the fuel tank, just because, you know, you don't need a lot of fuel. You can only run the thing for 3-4 cuts and you're basically shutting it off. My arm switch, I like these LED switches. These are kind of sweet. They light up, and that is going to go right here. So I do pretty much have a plan for this. My bad boy's going to go right there. Reach it with my thumb. Bottle here. Battery here. So let's mount these plates. So this plate is going to go here. I have to mount the plate and the battery. If that is must have had this on here before. I don't like making Swiss cheese out of it if I can help it. So I had that way over there. Is that going to be enough? Oh hell yeah, that'll be enough. Yeah, I don't need it sticking out any further. So there we go. That's going to go on just like that. With these guys. Okay, this again, I'm just kind of mopping this stuff up a little bit. We got that. This is basically just to set this. And then I might have to move that back a bit. No, that's pretty good. And then that is going to go like that. There, now this is the real world. This is the real world. Big freaking mess. Got shit everywhere. So I try to solder a bit, you know, quite a few of these connections. It saves room for one. And I try to solder everything I can. It saves room for one, keeps a really good connection. I'm not the best at it, but you know, always try to solder over your fuel tank. You know, your brand new fuel tank. So if you drip hot solder, it just melts the plastic. It's a great idea. But there we go. Look at how fast I am. All right. So there we go. Wired up. Super simple. You basically, I was using a push button before, and I'm basically wiring the push button. People ask how you do the wide open throttle switch. It's super easy. You just wire the push button into the linkage somewhere. So when it's not armed, nothing happens. Then turn it on. You hear that click. That's the solenoid. So if there was pressure to it, it would spray nitrous once it hits wide open throttle. The intake stack. So I got some goofy, crazy, you know me, guys. But I'm trying some different things with the intake stack. So I'll give this away. I have way better luck when I have the nitrous actually spraying way out here, like probably 4 inches away from the start of the carb, the Venturi. And if I use like these 90-degree nozzles, like where do I got one? Here's one. If I use a 90 and I go right in to the stack like that, it seems to want to choke this out. I've even tried it behind the carburetor on the intake manifold. It didn't seem to work very good either. I am trying a smaller nozzle this time. So this is something that maybe you nitrous guys, if you're watching this, you know about nitrous. I plug up anything that's under like a 22 as far as the, and you'll know what I mean when I excuse me when I say that for the nozzle or jet size. I've showed this before, but these are the different I got a bunch of them. They're just different jets or nozzles, different sizes. I think I got one up to like 36 down to, I have some really small ones like 009, a couple 12s. Those aren't out here, but I think it's because I have a high flow valve on the bottles that they just plug up instantly. They freeze and they don't work. But they sell jets all the way down to that size, so I don't know if it's because of the bottle. Maybe I need to get a different bottle, but I'd like to be able to try jets that are under, you know, I think these saws would run really good at like a 18 to 20, somewhere in there, but I can't run under like 24 or 26 because it chokes out the nozzle. Kind of a weird issue. Don't know why that happens. Again, still learning with these NOS saws, that's for damn sure. But the hell did that come from? Oh yeah, never mind. But I have a 24. Actually, I have a 22 in it. I'm gonna see if that thing plugs up. But I gotta put the pipe thread compound on all the fittings. And I know you're not supposed to use this yellow tape, but sometimes I do, for especially the situation that I'm gonna run into. I'll show you that, but I'm gonna hardline everything, and then I'm gonna have this nozzle, this 90, like out here, and it's gonna be hardlined. So it's kind of a different. I've never tried that yet. Let's do it. What I did. Really?